Do cords matter? Yes. Yes, they do. But I'm going to tell you why. There are three parts to your burner and you interact with them in different ways. First is your power supply. With this power supply, you can flip switches, you can turn knobs, you can see glowy stuff. It's right there. It's really cool. With the pen, you hold it in your hand. You touch it to whatever you are burning. But what about the cord? When you think about your cord, it's only in a negative way. It's a leash. You can't get very far from the machine. The cord gets in the way. It's not flexible. But your cord matters just as much as the burner or the pen. So what exactly is a cord? A cord is two wires inside of insulation running to connectors on each end. One connector goes to your machine, the other one goes to your pen. When you start reading about cords, you're going to start hearing gauges. Mostly it's 14 gauge, 16 gauge, or 18 gauge. What they're talking about is the size or diameter of the cord. When we talk about gauges, they're a little bit different. If you have gauged piercings, you know exactly what I'm talking about. As the number gets lower, the diameter gets bigger. If we're talking about a 16 and 18 gauge, the 16, even though it has a lower number, is a larger diameter. Here I have three different gauges of wire. On top is 14, in the middle is 16, and on the bottom is 18. Why do we use different sizes? One consideration is flexibility. The larger the wire, the less flexible it is. You can think of it the opposite of diameter. As the number gets higher, the more flexible it is. An 18 gauge is going to be much more flexible than a 14 gauge. It's a pretty easy decision then. 18 gauge, more flexible, right? Well, that's not the only factor. You also have to think about heat recovery. Do you love your wire tip wood burner when you turn it on and within a few seconds it's fully heated up and ready to burn? That's because of heat recovery. The larger the wire, the more heat recovery. It's a balance between flexibility and heat recovery. To me, heat recovery is more important than flexibility. So I'm going to go with a larger gauge wire. 16 is my preferred gauge. What you choose is ultimately up to you, and it's not a wrong decision. It's whatever you're looking for. When you have a problem with your burning system, 90% of the time, it's going to be the cord. It's broken in some way, and it's not passing energy from the power supply unit to the pen. But you can make your cords last longer, and I'll show you how. I've only been burning for 3 years, but I have been using cords for most of my life, mostly as a musician. I played in bands since I was a teenager, and you have cords and cords and cords all over the place. There's a cord for your microphone, there's a cord for your guitar, there's a cord for your amp, there's a cord for your saxophone, there's a cord for your mandolin. Yes, I play all of these, and I had cords for everything. When I go to play a show, this is what I take. These are all the cords I use. I'm not going to talk to you about all of these, but I will talk to you about one. I bought this guitar cable in 2002. If you ask most musicians how long a guitar cable will last, they usually say 2 to 5 years. This has lasted 20 years, and I'll show you how. When you buy wire, it comes on a spool. When you cut it off the spool, it's still in loops. Most times when you get shipped a cord, it's going to look like this, folded end over end. This is a horrible way to store it, and you're going to destroy your cords. When your cord is looped, it's in the wire's natural state. Nothing is bending too much, so you're going to avoid kinks. Kinks are where a wire gets bent, which will lead to breaks eventually down the road. You want to avoid kinks. If we take this and shove it into a bag between these two, it's just fine. You can unravel it. There's no kinks whatsoever. But if you wrap it the wrong way, like most companies do, you're going to break it. You can see how they're bent over now. These are kinks. Kinks lead to breaks. Breaks lead to your stuff not working. Don't have kinks. Wait, not that way. You can have kinks, don't have kinks in your cords. They will last longer. So if we go back to my trusty guitar cable, you can see that it's in loops. The loops aren't too big, but they're not too small either. You want to get right in the middle where it's tight enough to be secure, but not tight enough to cause any kinks or any damage. So how big of loops do you want to do? It depends on the wire. Here we have our 14 gauge. Since we have a larger cord, we want to go with a little bit bigger loops. I would suggest about double the size of your fist. I got 3 loops out of this, which is perfect for a 14 gauge wire about 1 meter long. What about an 18 gauge? 18 gauge is a bigger number, so the wire is thinner. There's more flexibility in an 18 gauge. I can probably go about the size of my fist. With the 18 gauge cord, approximately 1 meter long, I got 4 loops. Once you get them looped, what do you do to keep them secure? Velcro strips. You can find these in the thousands for cheap. One end secures onto your cord. After you wrap it, you just wrap it around and it's ready to store. When you store it, don't crush it. You want to have it on top or hanging somewhere. I keep all my cords in a little case like this. It's rigid enough so you don't crush it, but it gives you enough room to fit several cords. Just make sure that this goes on top. Don't put it below heavy equipment. While we're talking about cords, we have to remember about the other cord that we work with, the electrical cord. Store these exactly the same way in loops. When I'm storing my machine, I like to loop them together so they're both secure. This is now ready to go into a bag or shelf without destroying your cords for next time. Your cords can last years, and they will if you just treat them right. Now that you know how to take care of them, let me give you a few extra tips. Only buy cords from burner manufacturers. You're going to see other cables out there with these connectors on the end for audio. Do not buy those. They cannot handle the current and electricity that goes through these cables. There's another way that you can be destroying your cords without even know it. Some of us, while we work, we will turn our pens. This is especially true with writers. When you're working with something with a round tip, a writer, a ball tip, when you plug it in and you start burning, you don't notice, but a lot of times you start unconsciously spinning your pen and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. Spinning? Spinning. While you're doing that, you are twisting your cord. Most of the time your cord will be okay, but if you continue to do this over and over and over, it's going to cause breaks in the cord. Always remember, keep your cord straight. Keep kinks out of cords, kids. While you're burning, sometimes the pen will get hot. What you want to avoid is your cord getting hot. If you ever notice that there's heat coming from any of the connectors or the wire itself, turn it off immediately. These aren't supposed to be getting hot. If there's heat, that means there's probably a problem. There's a loose connection somewhere that's causing heat to build up. In those situations, you want to turn off your burner, let everything cool down. After that, you will unplug and plug everything back in, making sure that all the connections are tight. You want to hear a click. That means that it's seated correctly. If you have a wire where any metal wire is exposed, get rid of it immediately. Yes, you can take electrical tape and wrap it around, but it's just not good. Once that insulation has been breached, it's going to get worse. I know it sounds wasteful, but if you break one of these, just get rid of it. It's safer that way. The most important #1 tip is always have a backup. Nothing beats redundancy. Something is going to go wrong eventually, so you want to have a backup. The best cord in the world is one that you don't think of. So if it's working, you're not thinking about it. And when you're not thinking about your cord, you can think about what you're burning. I hope this helped you out. If it did, like and subscribe. It costs you nothing. You can see my work on Instagram, Dirk the Pyrographer, or at my website, shoemakerpyro.com. Thanks for watching and happy burning.